Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. I'm very conscious of time, so I will be brief. I rise to discuss Lord's Amendment 45 and the Government Amendment in lieu 45B, and I'd like to thank the Minister for the time that both she and the Secretary of State have taken to engage with me and with the Duke of Wellington in relation to his amendment, which I supported at the last stage. And in particular, I would like to thank her for what she has said today in relation to clarifying that the Government in lieu amendment does place a very clear duty on water companies on the face of the bill to reduce the impact of sewage discharges. That was at the heart of my private member's bill. It's what is included in her amendment, and what has been added to the amendment, which was not in my private member's bill or, frankly, in the Duke's amendment, is this commitment that that includes a reduction in harm for public health, which will be of great benefit to the increasing number of people engaged in using our rivers for swimming and canoeing, etc., and actually getting into the water rather than just touching the water with a fly or a leaded weight to catch a fish. The public health impact is something that we should not forget. There have been comments about how effective the enforcement regime is as proposed by the Minister. And by locking the enforcement regime into the existing Water Act enforcement regime, I have to say I think that is a potentially more effective method than was proposed in the previous Lord's Amendment. Of course, it will have to be enforced, and one of the big problems that we have with this, with the enforcement by the agency over the last 30 years is that their powers have not been rigorously enforced, and I would strongly encourage the Minister, as she engages with the consequences of the spending review, to encourage the Environment Agency to increase their enforcement efforts on the water companies. There have been comments both at the dispatch box we've just heard from the spokesman for the opposition, who I've also engaged with on this matter, and from outside, that the concept of a progressive reduction could be trivial. He cited some examples. And I think that is to fundamentally misunderstand the way in which this amendment will lock into the other measures in the bill. The government, before my private member's bill emerged, had already indicated that they were going to introduce for the first time in statute a requirement on water companies, sewerage undertakers, to produce a drainage and sewerage management plan to last 5 years. Every 5 years it would be updated. And within that plan, there is a requirement to reduce impact on the environment of their activities. This clause locks in the duty into those plans, and the plans are subject to a government power to rewrite them if they don't believe, if the Secretary of State of the day does not believe that they are good enough or go far enough. So there is a very clear link, in my view, between this amendment and requiring water companies to make a progressive reduction in sewage discharges of materiality. And that's what seems to have been missed by many of the commentators who have been complaining about whether this bill has teeth or not. Finally, I would just like to point out to the House that, in addition, as the Minister said, to this set of requirements on water companies, as a result of the establishment of the Office for Environmental Protection, there is the power for the OEP to investigate poor behaviour by water companies if they don't live up to their statutory duties in the bill, and that includes a progressive reduction in sewage discharge and their impact, and could also look at whether the Environment Agency is doing its job in regulating the water companies to progressively reduce sewage discharges, and as we've just heard, Ofwat as well can be investigated by the OEP. So for all of those reasons, I think this bill provides a very clear direction on water companies that they will be reducing sewage discharges, which everybody in this House agrees on all sides has got to stop.
Deirdre